So we all know that AI is a very hot topic, and because of two reasons. One is because of the benefits, and other thing is because of the risk. In terms of productivity, new revenue generation streams, the efficiencies, AI can create significant impact on the national GDPs. At the same time, significant risk, autonomous weapons, privacy-related issues, deep fake, significant because of this risk value trade-off. Everyone now looking into this AI. Now, Australia has AI ethics principles. Now, in fact, many organizations, ISO, OECD, and Singapore, India, all over the countries now looking into their AI policies. And the first thing is this establishing this principles. Now, Australia has 8 principles. You can think, check like human values, fairness, privacy, reliability, safety, transparency, contestability, accountability, which you can see in other frameworks as like IEEE, ISO. It's more generic framework. In fact, you can replace these AI systems from smart city if you like. So it's not related to AI. It's more related to good governance, people's perspective. Now, the one key thing is that if we are not having a human oversight, it seems to be none of these ethical principles cannot be achieved. Now, because of that, I just thought to think a little bit about what is the difference between this human and machine. Why really we can't do this by AI itself? Why we really need humans? And philosophically, what it means, humans means, like when people talk quite a lot about humans. Now, this challenge, human-machine challenge happened quite some, like in a different time period in the history. Now, when we are going into very long ago, humans are precise compared to mechanical things, but machines soon passed that mechanical things, and that means I heard like because of this thumb and index finger as capability that enable humans to separate from the other animals. That precision, but machines overtake it very like quite long time ago. Then in this Kasparov and Deep Blue's chess game, it was some kind of a milestone when we talk about artificial intelligence and humans first witness that a machine can defeat intellectually. Like when after defeating, Kasparov said that he feared. Can it play? Yeah.
An IBM computer has made a comeback in Game 2 of its match with world chess champion Garry Kasparov.
Whoa! Kasparov has resigned. When I see something that is well beyond my understanding, I'm scared. And that was something well beyond my understanding. And then...
So this fear we face in different...
An IBM computer has...
different points in AI journey, that there is a fear among us that what will happen, what will be the future looks like. Now, this fear, I'm not talking about this fear for the AI, but I want to a little bit talk about these emotions that what humans has. And I want to a little bit discuss different levels of data, because what AI is emerged through the data. And this data, like if you look a little bit, discuss about human data, there are certain data sets we can collect straight away based on the human behavior. And all of a sudden, there is if we a little bit go into human, then we still can collect certain data from the human brain through MRI, brain-computer interface, and various other ways. And there are humans, again, even have certain data set even deeper. might like feelings, right? So some subjective experiences like color, shapes, they are really subjective, but there are standards for those subjects. Like we all agree green color. So because of that, we can standardize it. But some, it's very difficult, but it perhaps might able with the data. For example, love, sad, anger, there are no standards, but there is no standards because of the data issue. But some, perhaps in future, there might be enough data sets to standardize. And we need to think again, when we think about human, we need to think like, is there really a significant certain data set within us, which we, that machines, we can't transfer that into a machine. So that is some kind of interesting question when we are looking at, think about human. Now, if you are looking into the world in 5 senses, like we all have 5 senses, that's how we perceive the environment. There's no other way. We see things from eyes, nose, smell, taste, touch, feeling, right? That's all we have. Now, these data can be easily collected, and that is how machines have got significant advantage when we are looking into the knowledge. It's just a knowledge, right? So we all observe the environment. But when we are looking into the brain, we realize that it's now, we can partition our brain, and there's like three main areas, like reptilian brain, limbic system, and the neocortex. Now, outer brain is what is where the most of these information, knowledge related, logics, reasoning works, right? Where the visual cortex, hearing, that's relates to our knowledge that coming from the 5 senses. But if you are looking into the limbic system, which is little bit inside to the brain, this is where the emotions, our memory, and some kind of a complex emotional intelligence, most of the emotional intelligence coming from this limbic system. There's a part called amid. I think the presentation is. Do you have the presentation in the cloud?
I mean, that was the only one that we had.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. So there's a certain parts like amygdala, hippocampus. There are certain parts which relates to this emotional intelligence. So that is our drives, hormones, controls, and all of these things. But that part also perhaps we might able to in future through like neurotechnology, we might able to collect this data, and that data can be used to train artificial intelligence, and we might able to make AI more emotional. It's just a matter like, but this is a complex part of the, still we don't know exactly how to interpret and how to extract this data, but it's possible in future. Now there are standards. I have seen IEEE standards discussing of the empathy of the AI. Even though there is no real empathy AI right now, we can realize because of these limitations of coming from these inner limbic systems, like detailed emotional level, but we can fakely, AI can make show you as emotional, but it is not really coming from the data sets related to the limbic system, but what that emotion is coming from your perception, like 5 senses. We know the sad face, identify sad face, smile face, happy face. So that data can fakely mimic the empathy, but real empathy coming from much more deeper level. Now, there are brain-computer interface emerged, and that brain-computer interface might enable to for us to looking into this AI, like train AI models much deeper level. When if that is possible, then we might still have a question. Okay, in that sense, whether machines get significant intelligence, like emotional capabilities, and perhaps surpass the humans from the emotional dimensions as well. Now, machines surpass us from the motor functions. Now, recently, like they surpass us from the knowledge. Now, can they soon surpass us from the emotion? Now, if we bring a brain-computer interface, there's a possibility that we can transplant a chip here, and then we can tap into the brain, and then we can train that AI agent through the brain data, directly brain data. Now, that brain data might have a correlation with the inner brain functions, like limbic system, and it perhaps enable to like theoretically, it is possible that this AI agents to correlates with the higher dimension, like much more complex behaviors, feelings, thoughts into the brain, and use that brain data to train much more complex behaviors like thoughts, emotions, all these things, right? So this is I published this paper last year related to consciousness. Now, what I bring out of this mind as something which cannot be explained. Now this is what we are going to explore. What is this mind? What is this consciousness? What is the part within us that which cannot be explained to a physicist, right? Now, if we have this discussion with physicists might think everything is mechanical, right? A chaotic system. So they are not bringing consciousness idea into their fundamental physics. There is a relativity, there is a quantum mechanics. They avoid consciousness. Now, but when we are looking into the making policy standards, we say human. Now, that means there's a contradiction. That means somehow people want to keep human. But at the same time, certain set of people, more like fundamental level, they are not agree to bringing this idea into this consciousness, mind, and all these human. They think it more mechanical way. However, there is a knowledge gap. At that knowledge gap, definitely still make us like logically that human in the loop, because human in the loop, like because someone can argue, okay, not all the data is available to us, because of that until all the data available, that there should be a human. But in a philosophical manner, in one day, can a machine completely capture the human data, right? The quantum computer, when some people explaining the quantum computer, it says like quantum computer can simulate the entire universe, atoms in the universe. So there's that human body is nothing like in that case when it comes to the simulation. But that is what is the interesting topic. This sometimes it is going to the metaphysics, philosophy, sometimes it might go into the religion. But this interesting idea of what is the difference between human and machine, right? At what point that machine, perhaps in the future, machine fail, and that is the thing. So this is kind of example. I'm going two ends. Like one is for the philosophy, and I'm also try to make it more practical. Now this image shows there's a how brain-computer interface, such a chip can be used to train a artificial limb, hand, right? So there are two people, one person's, both hands are not working. So we want to train these hands using a brain-computer interface, and then that AI agent chip in the brain will take care of this hand for driving, right? Now, there is initially there is a reference. He also driving the same scenario. There is a person. So this is a reinforcement learning idea, right? So initially this hand will do very bad behavior, but we penalize and then giving rewards. And with the time, this particular chip can use this hand effectively. And we can argue that inner brain data, like related to maybe limbic system, emotions also can incorporate it and tap through the brain-computer interface. So that is some kind of a scenario that we can think of human AI co-design. So human AI co-design, not just AI, how human AI co-designs can evolve into the future through brain-computer interface, right? Now, these slides I bring like explaining the chaotic system. Chaotic system is causal, deterministic, unpredictable. It's a theoretical concept, right? So now, if you're looking into the double pendulum, right, it's a chaotic system. We studied in physics so this is a normal pendulum. When we make it a double pendulum, this represents a chaotic system. Now, this system cannot be predicted. However, it's a causal and deterministic system, but highly sensitive to the initial condition and very difficult to predict. It's defined as unpredictable system. However, now this is one double pendulum. However, if we have many chaotic system, because of the central limit theorem, perhaps we might model it. Now, this is a Galton board, right? It is consists of many pebbles. Even though one pebble is little like chaotic, when there are so many things, it enables us to model it, right? So this is a normal distribution. So theoretically, central limits theorem enable us to transform any distribution, even random distribution, can be transformed to the normal distribution. Because of that, now people can't claim that the model accuracy doesn't mean that really that there is accuracy in the model. It's a nature. By nature, if the central limits theorem works, it's a very fundamental theorem. If you have any data set, you can make it normalize and create a model, right? Central limits theorem says if we randomly sample a distribution, that the distribution of this sample distribution is a normal. Mean of the distribution of the mean of this each sample is a normal. Now, this happens in any distribution. So because of that, someone can argue with a brain-computer interface, the data coming from the brain-computer interface can be used to model like any AI, complex AI systems. And that data definitely help to model. So now I stop that part in there. So, but what I want to explain here is this, the idea of human mapping idea is quite complicated thing. In a very fundamental level, that means we really don't know what is a human means actually, even though we talk about human. If we remove part by part from our body, which part we keep it as a human, right? At the same time, because of that, it's better we keep it as, okay, let's assume there's a knowledge gap, and we assume that we always machine is not complete. In fact, I missed some slide. In fact, any system is incomplete theoretically. If you know certain theories like Gödel's incompleteness theorems, kind of philosophical theories, it says like no system is complete. Even mathematics is not complete. the axioms are not complete. So because of that, let's assume there is a human need to be always, should be a human, right? There's a human mindset that we bring a lot of ideas, we make humans specialized, but we still don't know what is it. But we take human as a special thing, and then we talk about human rights, human dignity, human perspective, attitudes, philosophy, a lot of things, culture. And then that is we take it as a foundation. And then and with that human mindset, then we can decide how our what are our values, moral values, ethics. Now, ethics also very dynamic. Like there are consequentialism, utilitarianism. There are like ethics is not a fixed thing. Something you believe as ethical perhaps I might not believe as ethical. It's a very subjective thing. Now it depends on, and there is a bias. Like perhaps China might think something ethical. Perhaps US might not think the same thing as ethical, right? So then how we come to bridging that gap? So it's a very cultural thing. So that is where the diversity, inclusions, all these things coming into play. No one can criticize no one, right? And it is more collectively, some set of people believe, okay, similar mindset or something like that. They think, okay, this is what is more valued. And some other set of people might not value it. It is very subjective thing. Now that leads to the then it's emerged with the leadership, stakeholders, community, society, people, diversity, equity, inclusions, countries, people, add lot of labels into this. And that labels create, okay, Indian ethical values, Australian ethical values, IEEE, or like it's bias originate from the very fundamental levels, right? So then people decide on what is risk appetite. They set their own risk appetite. China's risk appetite is different to US risk appetite is changing to the Australian one. Then it create their own impact assessments, then policies. Because of these dynamics, changes, people can't work on ethics. They need to establish policies because you have different ethical values, I have different ethical values, different people have different ethical values. Then we establish a policy. Okay, we need to work, we need to have a policy to work together. So now a lot of people now work on this, right? So now usually like there's ISO 42000, IEEE 7000 series, OECD, NIST, EU, IET, they all have ethical values and they all have the same kind of dynamics like risk management, impact assessment, governance. So some are voluntarily ethics-based, some more look into consequentialism, some utilitarianism, risk-based, NIST, like EUA Act, which is more focused on risk, and like classify AI systems based on the risks. At the same time, sometimes there are United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, not risk-based, it's more on the sustainability, ethics, impact-based. So it's different mindsets, right? But all in all, what we need to understand is there's a human factor in it. These humans are the key things which govern these things. So what is reflect from the AI is the human, nothing more. So our data, algorithms, hyperparameters, policies, everything is humans. So interesting frameworks coming, data playbooks. I think these are very familiar topics related to, but I think what we want to build this is in terms of human in the loop. This is how I propose in that paper, how this should be governed. There's a human in the loop, diversity, equity, inclusions, governance body, and then the brain-computer interface should be behaved in a certain way. This is some kind of application. Like I wanted to explain certain things related to this consciousness and all these things. So we need to looking into these factors, values, moral values, ethics. We need to learn them very deeply. We need to, rather than we stick into the framework, we need to understand why it is happening. In that way, it will be more meaningful. Thank you.